When did you realize you had failed miserably as a parent? My son stopped talking to us because he said we loved each other more than him. My wife and I were having dinner at our house with our only son 2 weeks ago. We were celebrating the fact that he got into one of the top 10 PhD programs for physics. My son has no past issues. He's a smart, social, caring and hardworking boy. He has a good set of friends and an amazing girlfriend. I am just completely shocked at what happened. The argument occurred when both of us were congratulating him on his achievement and told him how we were so proud of the fact he was the first to get a PhD in the entire family. As usual, my wife reminded him to make it a priority to maintain contact with us when he moves to start his PhD. For some reason he just snapped at that moment. He stopped eating for a moment and with a stern look he asked why. I didn't know why he was angry. I just wanted to defuse a potential fight and jokingly said, "'Cause were your parents silly?" Then he said, "Well, your job is done now, you don't need to be bothered by me. You have more time for each other now." His mom asked what's the matter? He said he doesn't understand why he has to force himself to maintain contact with his parents who loved each other more than him. We were shocked and asked what makes him think like that. He went on a rant and said we may love him but he was mostly a job for us that we needed breaks from. He mentioned that up until starting college and the 4 vacations of 3 weeks we take in a year, we mostly went without him and dumped him at our parents' places. It's true though, most of our trips have been as couples since the beginning. This isn't his first time bringing it up. He mentioned for the majority of the weekends we looked forward to our date nights more than spending time with him. He said he felt that while we did love him, he was always at the back seat of our relationship. I told him we needed our own couple time too. He said that he understood that, but it seemed for him that in moments of fun we always preferred to spend it as a couple. The major thing that kicked me in the balls was when he said one of the major reasons he enjoyed college is that he no longer needed us for emotional support. He said he enjoyed spending time with his friends more than spending time with us. That's why he wanted to stay in the dorm for 4 years before he left. He said he was tired of being part of a family that placed him second when it came to love, especially when it wasn't his choice and he wanted to be equally loved. He left dinner that night without a goodbye and didn't contact us for a while after that. Me and his mom had been bawling our eyes out every day since then. We couldn't sleep at night at all. The worst part is that he doesn't need us financially anymore and can cut us out of his life with no drawbacks in our eyes. We did everything we're supposed to as parents. We loved him, fed him, sheltered him, paid for his tuition and spent time with him. Apparently not enough. A while later, my wife and I came into physical contact with our son. A lot of stuff had happened between the time we last saw him storming out on us during dinner and meeting him that Friday. In the first week, we kept calling our son 5 times a day and left him 3 voicemails daily. We never heard him pick up the phone within the second week. His girlfriend picked up his phone one day and told us he lives with her at her apartment, but that he doesn't want to see us. She told us to give him time to cool down. Meanwhile, our lives at home were getting screwed over the first couple of weeks. All of our energy was put into getting into contact with him and having him visit us. We knew where his girlfriend lived and my wife wanted to make a personal visit, but I warned her that showing up at his doorstep uninvited is only going to make the situation worse. We called our family members to persuade him to talk to us. It didn't matter if we had his grandparents, aunts, or uncles call him. His response was politely telling them he is willing to talk to them about anything but us and apologized if he inconvenienced them. We realized our method wasn't working. We decided to go for counseling and therapy, not only for trying to reconnect with him, but to also process our emotions through the difficult times. We slowly stopped overwhelming him with our attempts to contact him. Both of our counselors suggested we respect his boundaries and let him make the first move. So we decided to leave a voicemail to his phone saying that we would not bother him, but our door is always open to him. These 3 months were painful to say the least. Our intimate life decreased significantly. There was a time my wife started crying in the middle of it, since it reminded her of the time we let him cry out his nightmare when he was 3 years old. We didn't let him enter our room because we were in the middle of being intimate and we wanted to finish. We didn't go on any date nights or outside of the house for a long time. My wife and I became homebodies. A lot of guilt was plaguing us. That guilt led to a time of introspection. We started doing research on family dynamics during our spare time. We asked ourselves questions such as, did we spend enough time with him? Did he feel like a burden to our relationship? Were we wrong to put our relationship first over a relationship with him? Regardless, it seemed like it was too late. We wanted to be aware of what was going on in his life, so we used to follow him on social media. We checked his Facebook page every day. That was a big mistake. We found out that he proposed to his girlfriend last month and she said yes. We found out through a post on his Facebook page. Yes, that's right. We the parents found out about the engagement of our only child through effing Facebook. As if we weren't already in enough pain. We were stuck in the same cycle again for the past until he finally reached out to us. We got a call from our son this past Monday and it was like a positive sign from the universe. He said he wanted to talk about our relationship. He asked if he could come to our house this Thursday with his girlfriend for support. We obviously said a resounding yes. We were anxious. I didn't expect it to be a tearful reunion, but definitely a good step in reconciliation. My wife and I discussed with each other about how to lead the conversation. We both agreed to apologize for any anguish we caused and to listen to what he has to say first. When Thursday came, we sat impatiently waiting for him after we came back from work when he rang the doorbell and opened the door. There was no sense of warmth from him but a reluctant smile. His girlfriend almost felt sad being here. I had a feeling that night they both refused any drinks we offered to them. My son felt extremely uncomfortable being there. My wife told him that if he wanted to speak first that he should. This is what he said to us. He apologized to us if he caused us any emotional turmoil. He said his resentment started building up. Ever since he was little, there was a lot about our behavior that contributed to his point of view. He felt like having kids was more of a checklist that we wanted to complete instead of being actively interested in being a parent and having a deep bond as a parent. He said that whenever there was a disagreement with one of us, we had always taken each other's side over his. It felt like there was an us versus him type family dynamic. Whenever we came back home from work, we looked forward to seeing each other more than him. When it came to spending time with him, it felt like doing stuff with him was physically and emotionally draining, like we needed a break from him after having a break with him one-on-one time felt like it was even more taxing to us according to him. He also said that whenever there was time, we wanted to spend it only with each other. He recalled that we lit up when we wanted to spend time as a couple. We put more effort into having our date nights and couple time than spending time with him, he said. We seemed more upset when we couldn't have couple time over having family time. The fact that we spent our vacation as a couple rather than as a family compounded the problem. He found it bizarre when we claimed we missed him after he came back from our trips. When he was young, he cried when we showed him pictures of our trips. We would comfort him by saying that we love him but we need our couple time, he said. That even made him more upset. He felt like we were using our parents, his grandparents, as our impromptu babysitters. He said that this feeling was further corroborated when our visits significantly decreased when he grew older. He admitted he gave up on having a relationship with us when he entered high school. He put more effort and time into his academics so he could use his energy in a more productive manner than on us. It didn't come as a surprise when we didn't notice because we never formed a close bond with him to notice such things. He said his academics and friendship satisfied him more than spending time with us. Eventually, we were just roommates to him. He became apathetic when we didn't spend time with him and turned us down many times. We always thought he was too busy for us. He said that his bond with us weakened even more during college. He never missed us and he got annoyed when we asked to meet him and complain about him not calling us often. He said he cried sometimes because he felt guilty of not missing us. One of the reasons he did well in his academics was because he wanted to do well in other aspects in his life, such as following his passion in physics. He wanted to lead a happy life with us barely or entirely out of it. That's when he started tearing up. At that moment it still hurts him that the reason he is successful today is because he wanted to get away from us. He said he felt free when he went to college and now he is soon going to grad school this fall on the other side of the country. The past few months he realized a lot of new things. He concluded by stating what he wants for the future. He said he is very grateful for what we did for him, such as paying for college. He will financially support us if we ever need it or be present when an emergency or family crisis occurs. Aside from that, we are not a priority in his life at all. We shouldn't be demanding phone calls and or him visiting us anymore. He said he shouldn't be forced to maintain a strong relationship with us but we never cultured it while we raised him. He states that family are not an adult, isn't obligated to have and maintain a relationship with any other adult. He said he was stuck in a relationship with us he didn't want to have until he became independent. He no longer regrets his decision, he said. At the end of the day, we chose to be his parents, not the other way around. We could have found ways to bond with him and find common ground and stuff to do with him that way. It didn't feel like a burden to be a parent to him. We never incorporated him in our lives and saw being a parent akin to a job. We had every opportunity to form a close bond with him and we never took it before he left. He said he wished us a happy and healthy life and said we were invited to his wedding if we wanted to come. Time froze after he left and we were flabbergasted at what happened. It was like he divorced us. My door is always open to him and I hope one day he can forgive us for the way we treated him. However, I don't know how to move on with his possibly permanent estrangement. Jack, I still love you, son. Please come back. I'm sorry.